screeched as it arrived into Bognor Regis station. It woke Eric up for a start. Peering out of the window on the platform side, he could see a gaggle of policemen waiting there. One was even holding a giant net. The policeman at Victoria Station must have called ahead. Now there was no escape. Or was there? The train came to a juddering halt as Eric began desperately shaking Sid and Gertrude to wake them up. Wake up! Wake up! The train came to a juddering halt as Eric began. The moments both had come to. Gertrude letting out a terrific yawn. Look, hissed Eric, pointing out of the window at what looked like the entire Bognor Regis constabulary out in force. Oh no, replied Sid. We'll have to sneak out this side, said Eric. He climbed out of the window and landed on the railway line. It was dangerous with a capital D. If another train arrived, he would be squished in an instant. Eric's eyes darted left and right, checking that the coast was clear. He helped the other two down from the train. Gertrude pushed Sid's bottom up and out and then leapt down onto the line herself. Next, the three tiptoed over the track and heaved themselves up the platform onto the other side. Peering into the carriage windows, they could see the policemen swarming onto the train, searching for them. The three slid round a corner on the platform and came across a little office with a sign on the door which read, Lost Property. It was deserted. No doubt all the station staff had also been enlisted to look out for the three runaways. Let's hide in here, hissed Eric. They slipped inside, closing the door silently behind them. The office was a treasure trove of things folk had left behind at the station over the years. There were umbrellas, bowler hats, books, buckets and spades, rubber ducks, suitcases, kites, deck chairs, dollies, nut teddy bears, a beach ball, a globe, a pram, and even a stuffed cat. Gertrude whipped back her veil, her face a picture of delight. Here were lots of new toys to play with. Immediately she began bouncing the beach ball, twirled the umbrella as if she were doing the song and dance number, and took a great big bite out of the bowler hat. Stop that, Gertrude, hissed Eric. We may need this stuff. We can use some of these clothes as disguises. Good thinking, said Sid, reaching for one of the suitcases from a shelf. The policeman at Victoria Station would have given detailed descriptions of us. We have to lose this wedding party look at once. And now that we don't have the wheelchair, maybe we can use this, suggested the boy, holding the handle of the pram. A pram? It's huge. It must be for twins. Or one very big baby, said Sid slyly. They both turned to look at Gertrude. The gorilla was not enjoying the taste of the bowler hat at all, but she carried on eating. Do you think she'd even fit in the pram? Asked Eric. Gertrude frowned and shook her head. Well, if you think you can persuade her, remarked Sid. The gorilla crossed her arms as if in a ginormous huff. I'll try, replied the boy. He smiled at his furry friend, who frowned back. Her forehead wrinkled like a walnut. Good luck, joked Sid. There must be some way to bribe her. Well, we know she loves her food. Maybe we can find something in here. And we need good outfits for us, too. They opened a big battered suitcase. It was jammed full of long, flowery dresses. Oh, no, said Eric. I'm sure they'll have your size, chuckled Sid, but it'll be a perfect disguise. The police aren't looking for two ladies with a baby, are they? No, agreed the boy. Come on, then. Let's take some other bits and bobs to change into as soon as we're out of the station. And you need a shoe. That I do. After a short while, the door of the Lost Property Office creaked open. Sid stepped out first. He was wearing a long, flowery yellow dress, topped off with white silk gloves, sunglasses and a sun hat. The old man hid his beard behind a lady's fan. Next it was Eric's turn. He was sporting a lady's pink bathing costume, a flowery purple bathing hat, goggles and a rubber ring round his waist. Both pulled out the huge pram, which only just fitted through the door. Inside the pram, hidden under a number of colourful beach towels, was Gertrude. The old gorilla looked like the most unusual newborn baby you'd ever seen. She was sucking on a large stick of Bognor Regis rock. Eric had found her. It was just that he needed to tempt her into the pram. and it was so much tastier than a bowler hat. That was just the right swagger. The three waltzed straight past the throng of waiting policemen on the platform, who watched them with great curiosity. Would the police stop them? Was the game up? Not yet. The police studied them for a while, before turning their attention to the other passengers who were coming and going from the station. Now there was just a ticket barrier between them and freedom. Standing to attention at the station's ticket barrier was a little man with a big moustache. He looked, in a word, officious. "Tickets, please," he barked, his moustache twitching as he spoke. Sid produced the 3 tickets and handed them over with what he thought was a feminine flourish. The little man inspected the tickets closely and then tore them in 2. Sid cooed in his most ladylike voice, "Thank you, my good man. Well, if everything is in order, we must be on our way to enjoy the sights and sounds of Bognor Regis." "Stop!" replied the ticket inspector. Lady Sid and Lady Eric shared a nervous glance. Oh no, they were done for. "I love babies," said the little man. "Mind if I have a peek?" "She's very shy," huffed Lady Sid. "Oh, just a quick peek. She's sleeping," hissed Lady Eric. "Don't worry, I won't wake her," replied the little man. With that, he pulled back the beach towel and revealed a slurping Gertrude sucking on her stick of rock. A look of horror spread across the man's face. His moustache was now twitching like a kite in a storm. It looked as if it might fly off his face at any moment. "Pretty as a peach, isn't she?" chirped Lady Eric. "Now come along, baby." With the man still frozen to the spot in shock, the 2 pushed the pram out of Bognor Regis station. As soon as they turned a corner, they picked up as much speed as they could. They then leapt onto the back of the pram as it bounced down the pavement from the station into the town. "We did it!" exclaimed Sid. "We certainly did," agreed the boy. Slurp, slurp, slurp went baby Gertrude on her stick of rock. They were dressed perfectly for a delightful summer's day at the beach. Such a shame it was December. They had escaped into the charming little seaside town of Bognor Regis. Seaview Towers wasn't far away. They had no clue of the terrible danger that was lurking. Bognor Regis was all but deserted at this time of year. It was a summer seaside town, and like most summer seaside towns, it looked bleak in winter. Sid had come here for many of the summers of his boyhood. He remembered the zigzag route through the little streets to the seafront with ease. However, Eric had never been out of London. The boy marvelled at his first ever sight of the sea. He looked out in wonder as giant waves crashed onto the beach. Gertrude sat up in her pram and stared out at the sea. Not liking water, she shook her head and went back to slurping on her stick of rock. "I love the seaside," exclaimed the boy, shivering from the cold, "but I'm not so Gertrude is so keen." Just then, a gust of wind caught Sid's long, flowery dress, whipping it up over his head. Now everyone could see his undercrackers. "I'm not sure any of us is dressed for this weather," muttered the old man. "Let's get changed." Behind them was a long row of painted beach huts. They found one with a door that was unlocked and bustled the pram inside. The dressing had proved the perfect disguise to pass through Bognor Regis station, but now some more practical clothing was needed. They had wiped some coats, shirts, shoes and trousers from the lost property office and stuffed them into the basket under the pram. As quickly as they could, they got changed, but there was still a big question looming. "What about baby Gertrude?" asked the boy. The pair peeped into the pram. The gorilla had finished her stick of rock. Now she was sucking her thumb, snoring away, sound asleep. "She looks happy enough," replied Sid. "Let's leave the old girl to sleep. It's quite a walk to the promenade, and see if we can get her out of the pram. Someone will spot her. Yes, the gorilla walk is a bit of a giveaway. It's how I used to walk when I had an accident." They chuckled together. Gertrude stirred in her pram. Sid put his finger to his lips and whispered, "It's best if we don't wake her." As quietly as he could, Eric opened the door to the beach hut. First checking the coast was clear, literally the coast, then gently pushing Gertrude in the pram along the seafront. After a long, blustery walk along the front, they spotted their destination, Seaview Towers. The spooky-looking Gothic building sat on a hill overlooking the sea. Its dark grey bricks were crumbling after decades of being battered by storms. There were turrets on the roof that looked like they must have been you would find on a castle. Some of the windows must have been broken, as the glass had been boarded up with wood. A sign at the bottom of the hill that led up to the cliff read, "Sea View Towers, closed. Entry is forbidden." "Here we are," said Sid, straining as he helped push the Sleeping Beauty up the hill. "It'll be the perfect place for us to hide until things quieten down." As they made their way down the garden path, Eric was certain he saw a curtain twitch. "Uncle Sid," he hissed, "look!" "What?" "Something moved in that window," said the boy, pointing. The old man trained his eyes on the window, but there was nothing there. All the lights were off, and all the curtains were drawn. "If you think I've been imagining things, young lad, the place is closed." "I saw what I saw, Uncle Sid," protested the boy. They made the rest of the way up the long path without another word. The sky was a swirl of black clouds. Thunder and lightning struck.